That's one of the things that makes winning these races so difficult, is you've got so many people doing so many different things in Zwift to gain an advantage.
And we are back for another episode of Dead Last Cycling. And I'm not going to bury the lead because you've probably guessed from the title and thumbnail, yet again, I did not win this race. But it's a good race and it gives us an opportunity to talk about something that's been bothering me more and more about Zwift races lately, and what to me is effectively cheating. But first, let's set the stage.
Here we go, fellas. Crepe Escape. With the big climb, Mont Martra. That is going to be 2 to 3 minutes of hell. It's kind of a similar climb to the Yorkshire KOM reverse that we see in Queen's Highway After Party, but it's a lot steeper. So it's more condensed, less draftable. Just got to hit it hard. And I think leading up to it, this route is deceptively difficult too, because there's a lot of cobbles.
Mont Martra, what a circuit. I don't think it's a stretch to say that it's already iconic after featuring the Paris Olympic road race and last year's edition of the Tour de France, and I've been looking forward to racing it from the moment I heard about it getting added to Zwift, but my preparation for today's race could have been a bit better.
I did a big ride on the weekend, 7,000 feet of climbing, so my legs are a little sore still from that, but that's nothing compared to our old rival Gledison did. He did L'Etape du Tour at the weekend, so chapeau, Gledison, that's an amazing achievement. That's why he's not in the race, probably.
We might have been missing Gledison to push us on, but there are a few other familiar faces in today's race, so I knew I'd have to put in a serious effort once things got selective, and I'd need whatever help I could get too.
We are back to having power-ups today, which I hate. It's either aero or feather. We've got 2 chances at a power-up before the climb. If you don't get a feather, it's just, I'm just saying, it is what it is, it's just unfair. 10% weight on 9% gradients is massive.
Thankfully, with lots of banners, I'd have lots of opportunity to scoop up that much needed feather, and for once, things had started out fairly relaxed today. People were obviously giving this route the respect it deserves, but all that was about to change as we hit the first little test.
This first climb, I think, is just a long drag, 3 or 4%. Come on, give me a feather. Yes. Now I've got to keep my hand away from the Y button. What I really need is an assistant to use the power-ups and change gears for me. My brain can only handle so much.
This climb is barely more than a false flat, but whenever Zwift's in-game version of Climb Pro pops up in the middle of the screen, you know people are going to up the pace.
Let's keep it nice and disciplined. Oh, wrong gear change. See what I was saying about gear changes?
Apparently, I genuinely can't tell my left from my right to change gear properly, which is a little worrying, but hey, it's better to get your mistakes out early in a race.
A lot of people using the feather, I just can't risk that. I'm too unlucky. I played too many RNG-based video games to risk that. Slipping backwards a bit too much here. Probably
in part due to the over-exuberant feather users, I started to slide backwards a bit more than I'd like, and whilst it was pretty unlikely that things would split, you can never be too careful because you do not want to be chasing back on over the top. I made it back into a comfortable spot in the peloton, but I wasn't feeling particularly comfortable myself.
Oh man, that felt way harder than it should. 1980 socks.
With that little drag navigated somewhat successfully, my attention turned to what everyone was looking forward to, Mont Martra.
It's a short race. This is about if you've got the snap or not. How much punch have you got in your legs? You need to not overcook the start of Mont Martra. Try to stay in the draft just for that very brief, like 5-second middle section. But at the same time, I don't think it's a climb I can be reactive on. I think I just have to go. Full gas.
This was going to be selective, and thanks to a tip I got from the guy that smoked me in the sprint last week, I could see on the live Zwift power tracker the sort of people I was up against. And to be honest, for me, I don't think it's a great thing, because I can get a little inside my own head, but it does bring us back neatly to one of the themes of today's race.
We've got a guy in here who according to Zwift Power is 80 something kilos and does 4.2 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. So that might be a bit of ZRS manipulation that's got him in this pen, but all we can do is give it everything. That's one of the things that makes winning these races so difficult, is you've got so many people doing so many different things in Zwift to gain an advantage.
So there it is. ZRS manipulation, sandbagging, smurfing, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's cheating. Now that might be divisive, maybe you'll disagree, but personally, I think it's a real problem that damages the community. As well as my own racing, I watch and check out quite a few Zwift races every week, and time again, I'll see one or two guys, clearly far too strong for a category, just solo off the front and ruin a race. As a one-off, that'd be okay, but frequently, I'll check the profile for these riders, and you'll see them do that and follow it up by finishing last in their next race, minutes and minutes down, losing them a chunk of ZRS and letting them do it again, or they'll just happen to not race again until their ZRS has decayed. I just don't get it, and like I said, I think it's cheating. And personally, to me, I find it worse than blatant sticky watt users. At least they're not trying to make it seem like anything but cheating. But hey, you guys tuned in for a race, and you know that no matter what happens, I'm going to find a way to give it everything for the best result possible.
We start to drag up now, a little bit towards Mont Martra. It's not pancake flat. It's a false flag drag up to it. Got to stay in good position. This is going to be 2.5 minutes of hell. Absolute agony. It's that time of the race where I start to get nervous.
I'm over here trying to psych myself up for a kilometre at 9%, whilst a couple of riders were so excited they couldn't contain themselves and decided a little breakaway attempt was in order. And as two of them got a gap, the peloton had to give chase and things started to line out. And I was half expecting someone to try to hit out over the top as we reconnected with the escapees.
See if anyone tries a little fuga de la fuga here, or we'll have a calm before the all-out assault.
Mercifully, the calm option, for the most part, won out. But with people already in push mode, the fight for position was on, and I really needed to move up, which meant spending watts I'd been hoping to save for the climb and spiking my heart rate up to the 170s before the test even started.
Well, this running has been a lot harder than I wanted.
Legs already taxed, heart already beating out of my chest, but it's only a few minutes of absolute torture. Sounds like fun.
Oh, here we go, boys.
The second we hit the climb, the attack started with people sprinting clean off the front, and I had to go deep to make sure I didn't get left with too much to do. I wanted to try to stay in the top 5 or so wheels, and in the draft, till the second part of the climb. But as someone shot through the group at a pace that I had no chance of following, I ended up right where I didn't want to be, on the front, in the only really draftable section of the climb. Knocking my power off here would be suicide, as I'd lose momentum and slide backwards instantly. I had to just accept it and punch hard as soon as the gradient kicked back up. But almost right away, I started going backwards, and this was at 6 to 7 watts a kilo. One by one, I'd clawed back past people, but I started one rider drifting away from me and my legs were tying up. 2 seconds to the rider in front, 2 seconds to the rider behind. I had a decision to make. Could I bridge?
I gotta drop back, but we chased him. I need help. Come on, roll through, guys. He's got 7 seconds.
Did I make the right call here dropping back? You tell me, but I think so. Just to get up that climb, I set huge 2-minute and 3-minute lifetime power records, and I think if I'd tried to bridge across, I'd have probably just ended up completely blowing myself up and not making it, or getting there and then getting dropped.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's just holding 4.5, 5 watts a kilo. That's a cat A, smurfing.
Remember what I said earlier about cheating and people who are clearly too strong for a category? Well yeah, that'd be one of them. And shockingly, Tom Berger was nowhere to be found on the Zwift Power result page after the race. But hey, we were still in a race, so it was time to ignore Floyd Landis and focus on setting up for a sprint. Another reduced bunch sprint, which on paper should be my best chance at a good finish in Zwift. That is provided I can recover in time and execute it properly. But some of our group didn't even want to wait for a sprint.
Wow, we're going long. We're going really long. Oh God, my voice. Now we're sitting up. I'm not leaving this out.
I needed to nail this sprint, and to do that, I wanted to go as late as possible. I think too often in these Zwift sprints, I go from 0 to 100 way too fast and don't ramp up properly, which results in people passing me late. Today, I wanted to make sure I built into the sprint. Get out of the saddle, grab a wheel, build for a few seconds, and then hit it hard.
I'm always second, guys. I'm always second. It's so disheartening. I don't know what to do. Like, well, I get beat every week. You guys know I get beat every week by someone. But when the guy beating me is averaging 3.9 watts per kilo for the race, I mean, I don't know, I've not looked at his race history, but just leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth, because you've got to believe you shouldn't be in this category. Maybe that's sour grapes, but every week I watch a bunch of other people's races too, and I see it in nearly every race where somebody who's clearly way stronger than the category wins the race easily. And to me, it's starting to really damage and ruin the platform. Zwift doesn't seem to care, so I don't know. But 3 seconds in a row, like, it's really good. It's great. I really appreciate that I can come second. So many varied terrains. I can always compete. You guys push me on. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have, my heart was not in that. I was the sprint there, that was all you guys. But at the same time, it's really disheartening. Maybe I could have pushed on over Mont Martra to try to catch that guy, but I really don't think so. I think I made the right move tactically for the best position. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get over this hump of coming second every week. But look, as always, guys, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. It massively pushes and drives me on to give everything in these races. If you can like, comment, or subscribe, I'll be very grateful. And I will find a way to pick myself up and be back same time next week. See you then.